now that we've talked about Alter Youth, right? And it's very close to your heart, but why don't you give as much time to Alter Youth now as you used to?
Well, as life progressed, me having lost my father at the age of 16, had to step up for my family, and I believe that because garments industry is such a booming industry in this country,
and it's also got very razor thin margins and very cutthroat as well.
It has become very razor thin. That's what I say to everybody that you guys made money, we're left with the scraps. So going forward, I always think that this is the bread and butter of my family. The business is running. My mom was taking care of it, and she was doing a brilliant job, mashallah. And it was time for me to step up. So within, I was still at university, and Alter Youth was just blossoming. I had to also kind of be involved in the garments industry. So I had learned from my family is already into garments. It's been into garments for 3 generations now, me being the third. So firstly, I got to learn from all my uncles and all my family members the basics and everything. They taught me, they put me in factories, and
When was that? Like, what age was that? Like, they just shoved you in, like, jump?
So that was like around 22, 23.
When we were
22, 23. Yeah. So that's when I started going to the factory on a more regular basis and learning and understanding, because like you don't understand what goes into manufacturing a shirt or manufacturing clothes unless you see it for yourself for a while.
Yeah.
So you understand machines, you understand the people behind the machines, you understand the technicalities, you understand the elements, and it took a bit of time, but after that, learning from one factory which belonged to my uncles, I moved to our factory. That's when I could come in with something to give, and that's when I had to step up for the family.
Ugly question here. How dare you just come in with the silver and golden platter at you and then just start to run a factory, a little kid barely in his early 20s? How did you deal with comments such as that? And the more than comments, like এগুলো তো আসলে কেউ বলে না, rather এটা তো যে ইশারা ইঙ্গিতে body language বা কাজ করার ধরনে আসে expressed হয়. How did you deal with this sentiment?
These are things people think about, not say. And because we were the owners, I always had this, I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, and because my mother was the managing director, I could come in. And going from step to step, you have to get along with everyone that is there as well, and people have to be accepting of you. And being Bangladesh, people are very resistant towards these things.
Resistant towards change as well.
Towards change, towards new blood, towards a new way of working. It was difficult in the first few months, I would say, because I had to be accepted, and people have been working there for like 10-15 years and everything, so it took them a while to adjust from father to son, father to no leader to son. So it took them a while, but now I feel like they're very accepting of me. I love them. They're very hardworking. They give their sweat, and they spend a lot of time for what we want to achieve, for manufacturing the stuff we have to. Our workers at Shangu, we love our workers at Shangu. We consider them as a big family. We consider ourselves as a big family. We think that our family members should be able to eat on time, sleep on time and everything, and no matter how much difficulties we face, we try to make sure they all get paid within the tent. We try to make sure everything is done properly, so that they are at ease. Our workers, and in return, I would also say that our workers, our workforce love us, because they always know that we will look out for them, because they look out for us. And for Shangu, we have always been very worker-centric.
Yeah.
We've always been open about it.
Could you give some examples of being worker-centric and open?
Well, basically, you understand that in an export-oriented business, if the export is not completed, the payment is not realized. Many moments like these, we would basically take ODs from the bank, and we'd go like, it's gonna adjust with that shipment, you just pay the workers. That's what we want to do, and that has created a goodwill for us around our company, around our area. this is something I heard from our HR team, that when somebody wants to get a new house in our area, in Ashulia, where our factory is located, when the landlord hears that they work in Shangu, they are more
they're likelier
to give the rent
Why?
out because we pay on time. And it works out well for us
because then they're getting the rent on time, so then we want you.
So yeah, they're like, we want you to stay here, and then in turn people need security in their lives.
They do, absolutely,
to make something of themselves. And I believe that our workers, they're the heart and soul of this company, and they're the reason, and their brilliance and what they know, their technical ability, that is why we're doing well, and that is why we're moving forward at rapid speeds.
That's amazing to know. Are there any other benefits or anything close to your heart which you provide to your workers?
Close to my heart, well, we have been able to digitalize a lot of things.
Was that a pre-COVID thing or more of a out of necessity of post-COVID world?
Honestly, it was more of a pre-COVID thing. Okay. It was a vision of the big picture. And the big picture that
Did he inspired by Alter Youth website and creating all that naki je tokhon you realized digitalize kora jay?
একটা part এখানে
আচ্ছা
আরেকটা part হচ্ছে that, well, when I first walked into the factory, as the person who's going to work here, I used to see that there's a lot of things which are backdated in the 90s, and you have to look forward. And well, we already know about smart manufacturing, and I'm pretty sure you've heard of it, Industry 4.0 and everything.
Could you elaborate a little on that?
Okay, so basically smart factories and Industry 4.0 is when factories are becoming more digitalized.
Okay.
Machine work is becoming more digitalized and more quantifiable, and quality systems, LC systems, payments, HR, everything becoming digitalized and working under a more smart system. That's basically a smart factory 4.0. So going forward for us, it was like, okay, some of the elements we have is in the 90s, some of the elements we have are great, some of the elements we can work on. So for me, it was, I want to take the factory into 2040 right now. And how are we going to do that? We're going to need to implement digitalization in here. What do we do? So what we did was we built our own enterprise resource program.
From scratch?
From scratch, more or less.
Was it a vendor or was it an in-house thing?
Oh, it's an in-house thing. It's still an in-house thing. It's something we've been working on.
It's like order for you're like shop in-house korbo, baire jabo na.
After a certain period of time, you know that you want to be able to edit things.
Yeah.
নিজের মতো করে করা, tailor-made হওয়া is better fitting than getting ready-made. So আমাদের tailor-made করে আমরা করতে পারছি, such as there are lots of modules and everything that we could build that are not found in many existing ERP systems.
So it's like the system online accommodated to the needs of your enterprise rather than the other way around where you have to bend to that of vendors.
Right. That's how it was. And basically, yes, I did pick up a lot of things from different people, different factories. There's something I believe that there's no one who's self-made. Something I believe there's always someone looking out for you. By going through the ERP, you bolt out a lot of leaks, financial leaks, efficiency leaks, and a lot of things. And there's more control over the company in terms of taking orders, placing orders of fabrics and of accessories, and as well as it formalizes all the procedures that are otherwise goes in a Bangla format.
Another thing over here is that because it's custom made, can you make it more modular? Is it more modular in a way depending on when the orders come in and go out? Because it's never the same, right?
No, it's not. And the thing is, orders basically an ERP is not basically about the design or the fashion elements of the order. It's more about the quantity, the price, the fabrics that you're going to require. And it's basically to run the factory. You need a program to run the factory. Back in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, we didn't have this. And as time is progressing, we can say that if you do have this, then you know you have proper control over your company.
And you can really fine-tune.
You can fine-tune a lot of elements. For example, when we order fabrics from abroad, I always have to approve it. If I don't approve it, it's not going to get ordered. Because we have a system that we take we put the inquiry to 3 other suppliers, and the best price wins, and the best quality wins. We have very good suppliers from China, we have very good suppliers from India, and with them what it is that we have good relationships. That's why they try to provide us the best price. And whenever we see that there is specialization, let's say we're having to order trans cotton fabrics, then we will say, okay, let's go for supplier A. Or if we're ordering linens, let's go for supplier B, because we know what they're good at. And that's how and with the ERP, we always are able to work with our targets. So for example, we want to be able to make a 25% margin on the price. So we'll always limit ourselves. So when we receive DLC, okay, 75 is the limit. We can't cross spending this behind the cost, behind the goods that we're gonna need, the raw materials. So like that, that's the order basis. Other than that, the human resource is very well controlled. The accounts are very well controlled. The exports and imports are very well controlled. And going forward, the cutting, the production, every element of it is inside. And even post-production, after shipment, there are BGME requirements, there are requirements from our bank, there are requirements from Bangladesh Bank if you want to apply for incentives. We have built all that into our system, which a lot of the other systems don't have. And that's why I say that we have built the system based on other systems. Where the other people have failed, where the other ERPs have failed, I've seen quite a few ERPs.
So you've really looked into them, researched, and tried to take a learning from it.
Right.
Because I believe that's where a lot of people actually go wrong. Because honestly, at least in Bangladesh, if somebody fails, they go like, haha, fail course. But to be able to find out why they failed and to prevent that in your own model is a better way to go forward. Would you agree or not?
I do agree. And I also believe one more thing here, that there's no one who truly fails. I say this to my friends when they see something. I said, I don't fail, I learn. So basically, if you failed, okay, fine, great, work on it, and going forward you're going to fix it, because that's how it should be. And when we're going to the system, there's obviously scope to work for other people as well, that they're going to have the incentive module, which is not present in any other systems in Bangladesh. There has to be systems of, we can ship in different PO systems and all that, which is not present in a lot of systems. So for us it was requirements from the buyer that we have to do it this way, and requirements for us that we want this easier. That helped me and my team carve out what we're going to need in our factory, in our system. And now we also have a quality module inside, so we can control the quality of the garments as well.
What of the sustainability model? I mean, we are living in a world which focuses a lot on SDGs.
Right.
So how are you incorporating at least some of it? Because what people mistake is that SDGs bhabe je environment. No, it's got a lot to do with gender, equity, financial sustainability. It's a lot of other factors. Right. So how do you incorporate all that, or how have you incorporated some of them into, let's see, Shangu?